Hi dancers, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about my audition process coming out of college as a graduate with a Bachelor's of Arts in Dance. And I also want to talk about kind of what made me leave the performing field. So before we get started, as always, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this video with other dancers and drop a thumbs up below. Okay, so when I graduated college, I had the idea that I really wanted to get into a classical ballet company or even contemporary ballet company. Those were my two main goals. Like that was the reason that I went to college to study ballet and study dance, was to get a professional performing job. And I set out on tons of auditions. Like I had a bunch of auditions set out in Florida, Ohio, and California. Those were my three areas because I really liked, the warm weather states. And, part of me also was like, well, if I end up in Ohio, my family's here, and that would be easy for me to just stay there. So I went on, I think, 12 auditions in 2 weeks when I was in Florida. And then I think I went on 6 auditions in, I don't even remember how many days it was, but it wasn't a very long span of time. But I went on quite a few auditions in California. But most of them that I had set up were either a contemporary ballet audition or just a regular ballet, classical ballet audition. Then I can't even remember how many auditions, but I had quite a few in Ohio. So let's just talk about the one audition that really stuck out to me, which really put a bad taste in my mouth. So I went into this one audition and I took class and I felt like I did really good at the end. You know how you just know when you've got a good class. My turns were on, everything was on that day, and I felt really good coming out of it. And the director asked me to come meet with her afterward in her office. And I was like, oh, great, this is it. She's gonna make me a job offer. She told me all these nice things first, your technique is really excellent. You have a really great awareness of your body. I love your performance quality. And then she said, but you're just not the right size for my company. And I was like, wait, what? And, I just kind of sat there with a blank face like I'm really lost. And she said, I'm 5'5½", just so that you guys all know. And when I was auditioning back then, I weighed 115 pounds. Now I'm pregnant, but my normal weight is like 130. So anyway, she told me that the dancers in her company were taller than me and thinner than me. And for me to fit in, I would need to be about 2 inches taller and about 30 pounds lighter. And in my head, I was thinking, that's not healthy at all. Like, if I was taller and lighter, that would make me really anorexic looking. And I was ticked. I was really mad because she tells me, I've got all these great features. And then she tells me, but I just don't look like the rest of the company, so she can't use me. So I was really irritated coming out of that audition. And then that same thing happened 3 other times because I'd go into the auditions and I would make it all the way till the end. I'd take class and not necessarily sitting down with the director, but they would send me a letter or something like that, an email sometimes, and say your technique is excellent, performance quality excellent, all these things, really great. And then they would say, but we just don't have a place for you. And when I look at the people that were around me in the room, they were all taller than me, they were all thinner than me, and they all had these crazy banana feet. And so I was getting really, really discouraged. So then I started going to more contemporary route, contemporary ballet auditions. And I felt really good in there because there were people that actually looked like me, like my body type. They actually had womanly curves and they weren't like skyscraper pin needles. When I was in California, I was just looking up different auditions that were taking place, even jazz companies. Because a couple of the companies were like, you know what, I think you'd be a great jazz dancer. You just have that performance quality. And I was like, well, yeah, I danced jazz my whole life. So I just went out on a limb, and I went on a crazy limb, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna audition for some cruise ships. And so I auditioned for Carnival Cruise, Stiletto, when they're still around. I auditioned for Disney. And I just thought, why not? Let's just see what happens. So I went on all these auditions, super burnout. And then the offers started to come back in. So I got an offer from Disney, and it was to be at the park as Sleeping Beauty, and it was gonna pay like $12 an hour. So, that was okay. I was like, I could work with this, figure something out, move down to Florida, whatever. And then I got another offer from a contemporary ballet company, which was an apprenticeship, and it was unpaid for 1 year. And then after 1 year, they evaluated your performance, and then they would pay you based on like your performance for the year. And that was in California, so I was like, ooh, that could be a real opportunity for me. And then the third and final offer that came in was from Carnival Cruise. And they gave me an offer for a contract that I just couldn't resist. Financially, it was the adult decision to make. My heart wanted to go to that contemporary company and be like, let's go all in. But the contemporary company was in such a expensive part of California that I had no resources out there. I had nobody to like live with. I would have had to get my own apartment, get a second job to actually pay the bills. I had school payments that were coming in and that were gonna be due soon. I had a car payment. I had lots of responsibilities. So I had to make the most logical decision, and that was to go to Carnival Cruise instead of being a contemporary ballet dancer. And it did break my heart a little bit because I never saw myself going into like the commercial side of things, because I trained my entire life to get up to that point where I joined a contemporary company. But financially, I just had no resources. I wasn't sitting on a pot of money, and I don't have like rich relatives living out there somewhere. So it just wasn't in the cards for me. So then I went to the cruise ship, and I met two of the most amazing women that have been in my life for so many years now. And I never saw myself doing this, but I actually had a lot of fun. I got in touch with more of my jazzy side and character side. I was singing on stage. I never thought I would do that in my life, especially getting paid for it. But then there hit a point, and I remember the exact night that it happened too, because you're doing like, on a cruise ship, you're doing 2 to 3 shows a day. And you also have other responsibilities too. You're not just a dancer. Sometimes you have to do things that aren't under the realm of dance or artist. So I remember the night that I decided like I didn't want to perform anymore. And I was behind this backdrop, and we were getting ready to come on stage and start singing and dancing. And I was standing back there, and I remember thinking, I'm not having fun anymore. I don't feel like enthusiastic about this. I felt like it was routine, and I wasn't excited to go and do it like I usually had been. Like I was excited always to enter the stage before, and I stopped being excited. And so I thought, that's not what a performer should be doing. If you're in the audience, you want your performers to be excited to be there. You want them to have that energy and that zest for getting on stage. And I definitely had lost it. So by the time that I was over with that contract, I decided I wasn't gonna, go on again, and I wanted to go back home. So then that was the point where I went back to school for physical therapy. I got certified as a personal trainer, and I thought I was gonna leave the dance realm entirely. I thought I was done. And then one day I woke up again, and I was just kind of like, I really miss dance. Like I'm having anxiety problems. I don't know why I feel this way. I feel very unfulfilled right now. And then I thought, do I want to go back and perform? Not really. I was teaching a little bit at a studio here and there, but it wasn't like full on, that was my life. Because I was trying to split the roles between physical therapist assistant, personal trainer, and dance instructor, and it just was not working for me. So then, last year, I decided to start Veronica K Ballet and do this online thing and really just start putting myself out there. And I honestly thought I'd never do anything like this. And then now, between teaching at the studio that I work at in Akron and doing this, that is my full-time job. And I am so happy. Like, I am the most happy I've ever been, sharing knowledge with you guys, sharing my background in all of these different places. And I don't feel bad about leaving the performance field. I guess if I really wanted to, I could go out there and I could perform again. But right now, it's just not that interesting to me. I get really excited, and I have a lot of zest and enthusiasm now about showing up online and seeing the progress that my students make every time I work with them. And whether it's online or in person, like I am excited to work with my students. I'm excited to see them go on stage, to see them dance out my choreography. And that gives me more purpose and enthusiasm than putting myself in a tutu and running around to stage now. So I just want to say to all of you dancers out there who decide, I want to go into the educational side of it, don't feel bad for that. You should feel just as good about that. You're no less than those people who are out there performing in professional companies. And to those of you who decide, like, you've studied ballet all your life and maybe you want to go and do something different, like dance on a cruise line or dance in a theme park or whatever you want to do, that's still professional experience. And that still is valuable to your dance progress and your dance education. So whatever you decide to do with your dance career, remember that the biggest and most important thing is that you're enthusiastic to it, and it gives you a purpose, and that you're excited to show up and do that every day, whether that's performing, whether that's teaching, whether that's choreographing, whatever you've decided to do, make sure it makes you happy. And don't let others tell you where you should or shouldn't be going or what choices you should be making, because it's your life, not someone else's. So I've been really wanting to share this with you guys for a while now, and finally got the time to actually sit down and talk about it with you. So if you are working on your dance training and you're trying to get your technique better or improve your flexibility or just begin dancing as an adult, make sure you check out my online platform at veronicakballet.com. I do beginner all the way up to advanced classes, and I'm even adding contemporary dance for adult beginners this spring semester, winter spring semester. So enrollment is open now for group classes that are live on Zoom, and I have my on-demand platform that you can access anytime and train with me whenever you want. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this with other dancers, and keep a positive mindset towards your dance future. See you next time.